Chapter 4 Birthday Present. After the door was pushed open, they saw that it wasn't Chen Hao. Shunan, why are you here? Ma Xiaonan's face changed the moment she saw Shunan. Although they were classmates, Ma Xiaonan had yelled at Shunan before. This morning, after Ma Xiaonan knew that Shunan had toyed with Chen Hao, she gave him a good scolding. She didn't think that he would be this thick-skinned to actually be here. Xiaonan, are you still mad? I was only joking around with Chen Hao yesterday. Who knew that he would actually deliver it? Shunan laughed heartily. Some of his roommates came too. They even brought gifts. Speaking of which, Ma Xiaonan's family could also be considered rich. She tried to help Chen Hao countless times, but Chen Hao was unwilling to accept her help. Shunan was Ma Xiaonan's classmate in high school. Xiaonan, the Chen Hao that he mentioned. Is he the same Chen Hao that you were going to introduce me to? What happened? Zhao Yifan's beautiful eyes furrowed slightly as she casually asked. As soon as Shunan saw Zhao Yifan, his eyes gleamed. In actual fact, he had long wanted to be acquainted with Zhao Yifan as she was the hottest girl in the college's broadcasting department. Yes, he was this thick-skinned and was putting aside his dignity to apologize to Ma Xiaonan. To put it bluntly, he had already known that Zhao Yifan would come to Ma Xiaonan's birthday party. When he heard this, Shunan immediately said, "Oh, Miss Yifan, Chen Hao is in our class. He is quite a poor guy. Yesterday, ha ha ha." The moment he recalled yesterday's incident whereby Chen Hao had sent directs to his ex-girlfriend to help her with her sex life, Shunan nearly laughed himself to death. He told her the entire story in a few words. "You better shut your mouth up." Ma Xiaonan immediately flew into a rage and glared at Shunan. Zhao Yifan and her beautiful roommates looked incredulous. They couldn't believe that there was such a poor and pathetic person. Chen Hao's roommates' faces also looked grim. Nothing good comes out of Shunan's filthy mouth. Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Shunan smiled broadly and said, "Xiaonan, come and see the gift that I bought you." At this moment, there was a light knock on the door of the private room. Following that, the door opened. This time, Chen Hao entered with a red-colored plastic bag. "Chen Hao, you came." Ma Xiaonan immediately stood up and smiled. Chen Hao nodded his head. He instantly noticed that Shunan was sneering at him. In the past, he would have felt inferior when he met a second-generation heir. But now, haha. He is Chen Hao. Zhao Yifan also raised her eyes to look at Chen Hao. Zhao Yifan really wanted to get a boyfriend. His family might not need to be extremely wealthy. It was even fine for him to be a bit ordinary. However, he needed to be attractive and had good traits that would attract her attention. At that moment, although she thought Chen Hao was quite good-looking, his entire attire from top to bottom definitely did not exceed $150. He was extremely ordinary, especially when she heard Shunan mentioning Chen Hao's deeds just now. Her impression of Chen Hao had sunk to the bottom of the abyss. Zhao Yifan's face was full of disappointment. "Chen Hao, this is Yifan and these are her roommates. Let us get to know each other." Ma Xiaonan smiled and introduced them to each other. Chen Hao nodded his head. "My name is Chen Hao. Nice to meet you, Miss Yifan." Chen Hao reached out his hand in a polite manner. However, Zhao Yifan did not even look at him. She merely turned her head and continued drinking her fruit juice. Chen Hao's hand dangled in midair, and he could only retract his hand back sheepishly. Ma Xiaonan knew that her best friend had always been this way. If she was attracted to you, she would chat a little bit more. However, if she wasn't attracted to you, then the situation would be awful as she wouldn't even acknowledge you. Chen Hao did not say anything. He prepared to sit down. At this moment, Shunan's gaze fell on the red-colored plastic bag in Chen Hao's hands. He smirked in that instant. "Yo, Chen Hao, What gift did you buy for Xiaonan's birthday? Why don't you take it out for everyone else to see? Chen Hao's dorm leader could not take it anymore. Shunan, why do you always have something against Chen Hao? Shunan laughed heartily. He always felt a sense of validation when he ridiculed others. At that moment, he glanced coldly at Chen Hao and took out his gift first. It happened to be a black-colored designer bag. Xiaonan, this is my gift to you. A Hermes bag. When Shunan took out the bag, he instantly attracted the attention of Chao Yifan and her beautiful roommates. A Hermes Lindy bag. The market price of this bag is 8,999, right? All the beautiful girls changed the way they looked at Shunan immediately. This guy was just too generous. Even the usually aloof Chao Yifan couldn't help but give Shunan a second look. It's not that expensive. My dad knows the district manager of Hermes very well. I bought it for 7,999 since we were acquainted with each other. Shunan smiled and basked in the crowd's admiration. Ma Xiaonan really hated Shunan. But as the saying goes, you can never hit a smiling person. Thus, she could only accept the present. Hermes Lindy bag is the latest luxury bag that was launched by Hermes. It is very popular in Hong Kong, Macau and Taiwan. The price of this exact same model is at least 12,000 in those countries. Chao Yifan gave it a glance and said. Shunan raised his eyebrows. Miss Yifan, I did not know that you were so knowledgeable in luxury goods. Chao Yifan looked at Shunan and gave him a light smile. I wanted to buy this model the last time, but the price was a little bit too expensive. Shunan quickly said. Miss Yifan, I can give it to you as a present when you celebrate your birthday next time. It's only 8,000 or 9,000. It's nothing to me. In addition, the Hermes store near the entrance of our school knows us very well. Chao Yifan remained silent. She only smiled. She did not know Ma Xiaonan's high school classmate, Shunan. In the past, she only heard rumors that he was a vagabond. Unexpectedly, he was such a magnanimous person. Chao Yifan's impression of him improved a lot. After that, Chen Hao's dorm leader and the rest of them also presented their gifts respectively. Of course they weren't as expensive as Shunan's luxury item, but it was still worth around 300 to 400. Chen Hao did not know what to say. He planned to give his present to Ma Xiaonan after the event. However, at this moment, Shunan looked at the red-colored plastic bag in Chen Hao's hand and smiled evilly. He said, Chen Hao, I begged you to let us see your gift just now. So why don't you take it out and show it to everybody now? Look at the plastic bag you're holding. See how festive it looks. Shunan, shut your mouth up. Whatever Chen Hao gives me, I will still be happy. Ma Xiaonan warned Shunan again. However, Ma Xiaonan still cast a hopeful look in Chen Hao's direction. Chen Hao felt a little regretful. He did not wait for that additional half an hour as he was in a hurry. If only he knew earlier, he would have asked the promoter to wrap this bag up properly. It was supposed to be a simple gathering. But who knew that B***starred Shunan would come? Xiaonan, I bought you a bag. Chen Hao stood up and peeled back the red-colored plastic bag from the bag. Chao Yifan's brows knitted tightly together and the rest of her roommates also gave him a look of disdain. This person was such a loser and a disgrace. Wow! When Chen Hao took out the bag, Shunan shouted. Hermes! Ha ha ha! Chen Hao actually bought a Hermes for her as a gift. Such a luxurious item. Chen Hao, tell me quickly, where did you buy this bag from? It must be quite expensive, right? Shunan's words made all the girls laugh heartily. Chao Yifan shook her head slightly. She initially thought that although Chen Hao was poor, at least he was a person with integrity. Honestly speaking, Chen Hao was still qualified to be an ordinary friend. But now, Chao Yifan really looked down upon Chen Hao. This is Hermes 200 years anniversary collector's edition bag. There are only 200 of these bags in the entire world. Each bag is worth at least 300,000. The moment Zhao Yifan saw it, she instantly recognized it. There are counterfeits sold online and they are priced at approximately 150. Even if you were a prideful loser, nobody would buy it to parade it around the streets. It is shameful to carry around this counterfeit high-end luxury product. Zhao Yifan also treated him rudely. She looked at Chen Hao squarely. The person in front of her really made her vomit. Ma Xiaonan thought that Chen Hao would buy her some small gadgets and gizmos. She did not expect him to buy her a counterfeit item. But Ma Xiaonan still said happily, "Chen Hao, no matter what, thank you for buying me a gift. Next time you don't have to spend this kind of money anymore. 150 is still very expensive." Chen Hao felt like crying but no tears came. He wanted to say that this was the real thing. However, when he saw Zhao Yifan and her roommate's scornful gaze, he guessed that even if he told them the truth, they would not believe him. Not only that, they would look down on him even further. At this moment, Zhao Yifan looked at Ma Xiaonan and said, "Xiaonan, since when did you meet such an unreliable person?" Ma Xiaonan saw that Chen Hao would soon be placed in an embarrassing situation. Thus, she quickly changed the topic and said, Okay, it's my birthday today. We are all friends. Come, let us toast to this occasion. Zhao Yifan and her roommates still looked at Chen Hao with disgust and did not react. Shunan and the rest of them were smirking at the sides. Chen Hao saw that Ma Xiaonan was caught in between him and her friends and he felt awkward. He immediately got up and said, "Happy birthday, Xiaonan. However, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do back in my dorm. I will be going back first. Have fun everyone." Chen Hao knew that he was unneeded. He got up to leave. "Chen Hao,